Good morning, everybody. Apologies for that. I think the sound wasn't working on the last video. So my name is Deborah Byrne, and I am from Deborah Byrne Psychology Services, known across social media as DBpsychology. And this morning's blog is all about hidden disability called dysgraphia. And just like any other disability, it is entitlements of the various education and disability acts in Ireland. So it is the ability to put their thoughts down on paper and their fine motor skills. And it can be language based or non-language based. Thing I would say is that it first appears usually when the child goes to primary school, because they have to write out their letters and maybe make words, and they can have a great deal of difficulty in doing that. The other thing, it affects more girls, and it is that can occur with other disabilities. So you could have it occurring with dyspraxia, autism. Saying that, as I said, it is a language. It can be language based or non-language based. What we mean by language based is that they have difficulties with the fine motor control for writing. So they have difficulties with holding a pencil, gripping a pencil, anything at all to do with the actual their hand and moving it, and hand-eye coordination and all that they have a lot of difficulty with that. So somebody who has language based though, it is to do with, in fact, so I'll just run down through them. They have a difficulty converting the sound into the written form. So when they're learning their ABC, so we know that the A, you hear the letter A and you hear B and C. So somebody with dysgraphia mightn't be able to translate that into the letter A or the letter A, which is the same letter. They might have difficulty with that. They also will have the letters, so learning the alphabet will be difficult, and putting individual letters into a sentence will be difficulty there, and reversing the letter. So if you think of letters that are very commonly reversed, the B, the P, the Q, S, K, then it being happening as they get older. So over 7, still sign for them to do spelling and grammar, omitting words. So they leave out the they can also leave endings of words out. So the ings, the ens, the eds, s's, things like that. They can leave out endings, words out of order. So if they were doing a sentence, even copying the sentence from the black, the cat in the hat, they might put the hat and then put cat in, Now, the big thing I suppose people would notice is that they can, but they can't get their thoughts down on paper. So that's a big sign. And I've listed, as I said, I've listed out all the signs in general. There are 5 types, and I'm out. So you can do check out the blog for that. The same type of rights and entitlements, as I said. So they're entitled to an assessment of need in Ireland. So do check out works. It's all on the blog and links out that you might need. And accommodations. I do talk about some accommodations that should really be putting in place. But what most parents want to know is, what are the signs that they would see? So the signs a parent might see is that they avoid writing. So they could start to write, because most kids will want to pick up a crayon or pencil. You toddlers will want to do that because they'll see you writing. They'll see other sibling, maybe an older sibling or a cousin or somebody writing, and they'll want to imitate that. But these children then will start to avoid doing it the older they get. They also may speak out loud and they will have, really good and fluent language skills. So they'll be able to talk, have a lot of ideas, and yet they can't translate those down onto paper. They just can't seem to put that onto paper. They may complain about wrist pain or hand pain when they actually have to write, and you'll notice that they can be very, have difficulty taking notes or copying things down if they have to copy something from a book, or even the teacher might say he's having difficulty from the black, something wrong with him copying things down from the blackboard. They will be, as I said, they will be omitting words or reversing letters. That's that size of the letters. So they could have big letters and small letters all in the one word. They might have their spacing might be apart. Um, format that because they're just not see normal. It looks straight. So read through if you're concerned at all and you think, oh, they might have one of these types of dysgraphia. You think, having read the blog, I can see some of those signs there, those characteristics, and through their written work and have a look, and then of course go and contact the school and talk about talk to the school and get the assessment you need, get that, and get that ball rolling as quick as possible, because we want the interventions as quickly as possible. There's nothing worse than having a hidden disability um, and not getting in, getting the correct interventions, which can make a huge impact on their self-esteem. The longer it's left, the lower the child's self-esteem will get, and the more they'll want to avoid school because it's very difficult for them. So what can you do as a parent? After you get them priority, I always say to parents, you have to be consistent in what you do with them. So how you treat your other children is how you should treat your child with a disability. Sometimes because we feel guilty, we can be a bit more lenient and they get away with a lot more. No, don't do that. That is one of the worst things you can do. So it has to be consistent. That is what they need. That is what they want. They need rules and regulations, and above all, they just need your reassurance that you are there for them and that you love them no matter what. You are going to feel guilty. You're going to feel big guilt. Please let that go, because the sooner you let that go, the better for you. Your child will pick up on that. You will, yeah, it's not that when they get a diagnosis of a disability for their child that they go through a grieving process, and you go through the grieving process, and at times down the years when something happens or a milestone isn't reached, or it's an event or something, and you see other children getting lots of awards and things like that, you can grieve again. It'll bring up stuff for you again. So be aware of that and be prepared for that. Um, this is a disability. Your child will have this for the rest of their lives. So please don't buy into any fads. Make sure that what you do and what um, you, you know, for your child outside school is of benefit to them and is tried and tested. And I do link out to the Dyslexic Association of Ireland, which also deals with dysgraphia. So there's lots of hints and tips there. And then saying that I have a 3-part blog which is very detailed and gives a lots and lots of you can do around different areas, homework, organisation, you can do and things that you have to keep an eye on in the school system and things like that. It's a 3-part blog, and it's disability. Any child's disability. These hints and tips. It's really quite comprehensive. That if you want to do something to help your child, do check that one out on dyslexia. It's 3-parter, and there's a lot there you can actually do to be doing something. Most importantly, you have to find out what dysgraphia is for your child and be able to describe it. And why I say that is, don't expect the school to know what it is. Do not expect the teachers to know what it is. Do not expect that they will know automatically that it is a disability with rights and entitlements. So know those. You are going to spend your time every year describing your child's dysgraphia, the type it is and how it affects them, to every teacher that they have. So be able to do that. And know that they're into what they're entitled to, because people will not know what they're entitled to. Ask for help. Always ask for help. That is the most important. Talk to other parents who have other children with hidden disabilities. They are a wealth of knowledge, particularly if they are further along in the school, the education. They are going to be a wealth of. Make sure that the school is putting in the IEP, or the individual education plan, and don't automatically assume that they will. They have a duty to do that, but you may have to push it and get it done. And you're entitled to a consultation on it. You're entitled to in it. You're entitled to a copy of it, and you should be, in fact, included in that IEP, where you are given tasks to do at home, and it should be reviewed. There will be a review period put on it. Usually, I would have said, depending on how severe the child's disability is, it could be months, but maximum, I'd say, every year. It should be done at least once a year. Now, 2 things that you can do right off the bat after you've gotten them assessed and things are in place in school, is to build their self-esteem. That is very, very, very important. Usually by the time a child with disability is diagnosed, they flattering. And so your primary job, is to get their self-esteem built up. I do have a blog on that, and I've talked about it before. One of the easiest ways to do that is to find something outside of school, outside of the writing or anything like that they do, that they excel at. So if they're sports or music or art, get them doing that. Important, and you use those talents and build those up, because it'll build their self-esteem at the same time. Teach them to self-advocate, because at the end of the day, when they go to university or college, and they will, they need to be able to do what you're able to do, which is describe their own disability, know their own rights and entitlements, and be able to speak up and ask for help. That is very, very important, because the college and university, unless your child says to you yes, and tells the college or university, yes, my mother or father can be my advocate, they won't deal with you. It will have to be the person that is going to the university or college. So they must be able to self-advocate. They must be able to stand up for themselves. When people that are ignorant of disabilities make some sort of comment or say something, and they can correct them to do that. So that is two things that are vital for their future. So that's it. You can find the blog at DeborahByrnePsychologyServices.com, and I will be on next week as well, and there's a new blog out on. Thank you very much for listening again, and hello to Deirdre and Colette as always, and to everybody who watches this in replay, and I'm hoping this time around the sound is okay. And I will see you all next Saturday morning. Thank you.